What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back to a Therapeutic Edge. It's very nice to have you here today. This is not going to be a particularly long review because it's not a particularly long knife. That's a short joke. This is the Clavi from the folks at Clavi. I'm going to go with Clavi from the folks over at Civivi. It is an Ostap Hell design. It is very, very pokey. It's kind of cool. It's a front flipper. It's not really my kind of knife, but I can definitely see where it would be a great sort of gentleman's carry slash last ditch pokey stabby, maybe. Yeah, it's tiny. If it was any smaller, and it is a front flipper, I wouldn't be able to front. See, I miss it sometimes. I wouldn't be able to front flip it. I can. So if you got hands my size or smaller, it's going to work. But if you got mitts bigger than mine, you are not, this is not going to be your knife. And that's okay. What do you get with the Clavi here? Well, you get G10 steel liners. It is a liner lock. You get Civivi's excellent Nitro-V blade steel. You get a really pokey, stabby Wharncliffe blade. This thing is, I mean, it's really thin, so it's got a really nice edge on it, even though it's a very short blade. It's got a very neutral handle, so it is, you know, it's just at 4 fingers all the way to the information. It is comfortable, right? I mean, it's not the knife you're going to want to pull out and cut up, you know, hundreds of yards of cardboard, but it's kind of a backup gentleman's light carry. It is really cool, and I like the way it looks a lot. Would you like to see it, Miss Women Carry Knives?
This is a great size. I mean, it's small for... I'm sorry, I have drywall on my hands. This is...
okay, I have fireplace stuff on mine.
Yeah, this is a great size. I really like the size. I think it's a great one to carry for just a night out when you need to be discreet for the men. Yeah. Great one for the women, too, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to your review on it for sure. For me, it's a little...
small for you.
Petite. It's verging on small that it's hard to work with for me. Holding onto the handle really well is hard to do when I'm doing like long cuts, but it's still well done. Civivi hasn't made a bad knife in a long time. They didn't start here, right? Fit and finish build quality is astonishing. The overall knife is put together extremely well. It's attractive. They do a great job on their Nitro-V, so it holds an edge very well. But man, this thing is so pokey. I mean, pokey. So let's go ahead and just do kind of a brief overview and look at it. It is a reversible clip, although it is still a, you know, right-hand friendly liner lock. And it's not deep carry, which I don't quite understand that. If it's supposed to be a subtle gentleman's carry, why would you want this much knife sticking out of your pocket subtly? Now, I guess there's an argument to be made that it's so small you need that so you can grab it, but it seems a little confused. The action is very good, although it won't drop shut because the blade weighs next to nothing. And again, I miss that flip periodically because it's so small. The way they did this sort of kind of mohawky over-the-top flipper, I have never been good at. Yeah, I can't do the over-the-top thing. For me, it works best if I kind of get a hold of the clip, right? So take it out of my pocket, get a hold of the grip, and just over the top with my thumb. So let's get some specs out of the way. You're looking at 2 3/4 of cutting on just 3 inches of their, again, remarkable S90V. S90V, Nitro-V. It's been a long day. It'd be great if it was S90V. Of their Nitro-V, the grip area, since it is the entire handle, is coming in at 3.5. Closed length on the little Clavi is, you gotta make room for the little nubby up here, is just shy of 4 inches. Overall length from tip to tail is coming in at 6 3/4 inches. And of course, the in-the-pocket profile is a dream, right? I mean, it's less than 3/4 of an inch at its absolute widest, right? It's a very, very petite knife. I do have to find something. What's this? Oh, it's my new Knife Nerd card. So, yeah, I mean, that's an awful lot of knife sticking out of the pocket for such a tiny little thing. I think And it's interesting because I don't know. You tell me. I want to be clear. It's not that I don't like the knife. It's just I'm not quite sure what I would do with it other than give something a jab. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's a oh shit backup knife. Like you've lost your main and you dropped your sort of overarching backup, and then you reach into your sock and come up with this thing and give somebody a jab. I don't know. I don't know at all. The funny thing is I'm sort of making fun of it. There's people out there that are all mad at me right now because this is their ideal knife. And I love that. I do. I'm glad we don't all have to like the same thing. It's just not every knife is built for every person, right? I mean, it's the same size basically as my finger, right? So anyway, fit and finish again is really good. And I do love that it's got the black and silver pivot, which is really nice. Simple build, right? It's held together at the pivot, and then there's a barrel spacer back here, which you're not going to be able to see very well because it's a black knife. The liners are not milled, but who cares? They're only this big. I don't know. It's just not really my kind of knife, but it sure is well made. Let's do some size comparisons. Just for giggles, as I said, it is coming in at, you know what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 3/4 inches overall. So you know it's going to be considerably bigger than, I mean, smaller than the bug out, right? And of course, it's going to be much, much smaller than the full-size grip here. What did I do recently? Oh, I've got the mercenary on the table. I mean, it's a tiny little knife. I mean, here it is against a Sharpie. I'm sort of leaning into the Dirk Warning territory here. He does Sharpie size comparisons, but I mean, really, this is a small knife. But maybe that's the benefit to it. Maybe you don't really need the pocket clip. Maybe you take the pocket clip off and just drop it into the pocket and carry it like it's a traditional, right? That might be cool. If this knife was 30% bigger, I would really, really like it, but it isn't. I said it's a thin slice of that Nitro-V, and I meant it. It is 2.26 millimeters, right? I mean, it is a really thin slice of Nitro-V, but that does mean that it's, you know, pretty slicey, right? It is a good cutter, which is nice. As a backup tool and as a last-ditch little pokey stabby, I think the Clavi here is a pretty nice knife. And again, you cannot beat Civivi build quality. You know, you really can't. Now, it is, again, $60, $59, but that's up to you. Let's weigh it. Something this small, its weight has to be part of its charm, and it feels pretty light in hand. Okay. 1.7, whereas the bug out is 1.8. So as a weight-saving feature, you can either carry, essentially, a full-size knife with a blade like that, or the... Okay, here's what we're going to do. This is not a pocket knife. It's a last-ditch tool. And in that regard, it is pretty darn good. It is very stabby. It is very slicey. I would much rather have this than nothing at all. If you've got really, like, soft, you know, like shorts on, or you're wearing slacks, this is an excellent option. Women Carry Knives really likes the size of it. I think that if you had just a little go bag or like an emergency kit, this would be an excellent tool to put in there. In fact, I may swap this out into my go bag. We'll see how it fits. As a primary knife, not so much. It's just too damn small. But as a backup tool, the Clavi here is an excellent bit of kit. And that's where we're going to leave it. This is not a pocket knife review. This is a backup knife review, at least for me. Your mileage may vary. But there you have it. Civivi Clavi. A knife that was actually challenging for me to review because I couldn't quite figure out how to put use to it in a really effective way. I would like to say that the lock bar does have some nice jimping on it, so it's easy to get to. But that's Civivi, right? They make a good knife. This is another one of those. It's just not really my knife. Thanks for watching. You know, here's what we'll do. I will carry this as a support knife for a while and come back in a month or two and do a short video and tell you what I think overall. We'll see how that works out. But for now, if you're looking for a little tiny backup knife or you have need of a little tiny knife made of excellent materials from a reliable company that does a good job, this might be the knife for you. And on that note, we'll wrap it up. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.